Hello, everyone. It's Judy from Coffee, Cookies, and Books. And what we're going to do today is the final book haul for the second quarter of 2025, which is romance. Have some great books to share. Hope you'll stick around. So great to see you again. Before we get started, I'd really love it if you could like and subscribe to the video. It would help me out so much. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2025, and your help would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so let's move on to my final book haul for the second quarter of 2025. I had to think about that for a minute. And this is going to be my romance books. Now, I do have a couple of random other fiction styles in here. I just kind of felt like they kind of fit anywhere, and I just threw them in with the romance book. So there's just going to be a couple of those. But let's get started. So first off, I picked up from Book Outlet Jessa Hastings' Magnolia Parks and Daisy Hates. Now, I don't know if I'm going to like this series, which is why I didn't care about the covers that I picked them up. They were on the $7.99 sale. So I'm in Canada, in case anybody wonders, because the price is slightly different in Canada. And I thought, well, I'll grab them while I have the opportunity, because I had not ever seen them on the Book Outlet previously before. And these are, I think they've, they're not technically romances. They're about the lives of rich people behaving badly in London, England. So I thought, oh, I'll give it a try. And they are younger people. Like, I think we're talking people in their early 20s. So, for me, I might not be able to relate to it too much, but that doesn't mean that I don't enjoy stories of that nature. So that's why. And there's another group that you're going to see that's in the romance category. While I'm uncomfortable putting it in the romance category, but they are technically that. But we'll discuss that when we get to them. They're actually going to be the last books that we talk about in this. So that's Magnolia Parks and Daisy Hates. And it says here, we'll just read off the first book. Magnolia Parks is beautiful, affluent, self-involved, and mildly neurotic London socialite B.J. Ballantyne, who is the male in the series, is brilliant, is Britain's most notorious and photographed bad boy who broke her heart. But these two are meant to be, and everyone knows it. Magnolia and BJ are written in the stars, just suspended in a strange kind of love that looks like hurting each other a lot of the time. She dates other people to keep him at bay. He sleeps with other girls to keep her at bay. But at the end of every day, every sad endeavor to get over one another, it's still each other they crawl back to. So, yeah, don't know if I'm going to like it, but we will give it a shot with those two. Okay, then I picked up Flock by Kate Stewart. This is, I think, a dark suspense romance. The first in a seductive series that has become an international bestseller, a modern-day Robin Hood retelling that is steamy, intensely emotional, and utterly original. Can you keep a secret? The one thing Cecilia Horner knows about her move to Triple Falls is it'll be temporary. After 1 year working for her elusive father at his factory, he'll hand over the inheritance she needs to help her single mother. With that, Cecilia will leave the town and everyone in it behind forever. On her first day, she collides with her new supervisor, Sean. Enigmatic, charming, irresistible, Sean lures Cecilia into a new world of sex, lies, and alliances. Determined to make the most of her time in Triple Falls, Cecilia allows herself to blindly fall. But the more Cecilia is drawn in, the stronger her belief becomes that Sean is keeping a secret that Dominic, Sean's best friend, and the darkest, most dangerous member of his crew, is determined to keep Cecilia from uncovering. So, certainly sounds like it got a thrilling edge to it, and I loved the sound of it. Definitely on the dark side, so we'll give this one a try, and this is book 1, so yeah. Not sure how many are planned in the series, but I thought that sounded really good. So one of the other books that I actually, when I ordered from Book Outlet, I received this for free. I have never read anything from Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm not sure that her books are really for me, but I figured this one's free, so we'll try it. It's called One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and it says, a breathtaking new love story about a woman unexpectedly forced to choose between the husband she has long thought dead and the fiancé she has finally brought her back to life. So in her 20s, Emma Blair marries her high school sweetheart Jesse. They build a life for themselves, far away from the expectations of their parents and the people of their hometown in Massachusetts. They travel the world together. Emma is a freelance writer. Jesse is a production assistant on nature documentaries, living life to the fullest and seizing every opportunity. On the first wedding anniversary, Jesse is on assignment in Aleutian Islands when his helicopter goes missing over the Pacific. Just like that, Jesse is gone. Emma quits her job and moves home in an effort to put her life back together. Years later, now in her 30s, Emma runs into an old friend, Sam, and finds herself falling in love again. When Emma and Sam get engaged, it feels like Emma's second chance at happiness. That is, until Jesse's found. He's alive. He's been trying to come home to her all these years. Emma now has a husband and a fiancé who is truly can't speak English again. But who is her one true love? And what does it even mean to love truly? Emma knows she has to listen to her heart. She's just not sure what it's saying. So it sounds like it's a little bit of a heartbreaking story. I mean, obviously, you lose one person and then they show up again when you think you're ready to move on with your life. So I thought that sounded good. It actually sounds good. So we'll give it a shot. And if I like it, then I might try her other books. The other book that I thought sounded interesting is Daisy Jones and the Six. Is that what it's called? That one sounded interesting. But like the most recent one, Atmosphere, doesn't interest me in the least. There's nothing about the synopsis, nothing. So it's like it might be one of those things where just only certain books of hers maybe hit the spot for me. But this one's short and sweet, so I'll give it a try. Okay. Next up is Beautiful Venom by Rena Kent. Now, I do have God of Malice. I have not tried that series by her yet. This, of course, is a dark romance, and I thought it sounded good. I liked the premise behind this. It says, in a den of vipers, revenge is the deadliest venom. They shattered my world. Now I'll bring down theirs. The problem, I have virtually no way to trace the puppet master. My only lead, the Vipers, an elite college hockey team that rules the ice and the shadows beyond it. To infiltrate this secret society, I set my sights on their weakest link, Kane Davenport, the charismatic captain and the lone green flag in a nest of serpents. But too late, I realize I've enticed the most venomous snake. Kane's friendly facade hides a predator more dangerous than I imagined. He quickly unveils the monster lurking beneath the surface, a monster who lured me in only to trap me in a lethal game with no escape. So I love the sound of this one. It sounds like it's a bit thrilling. Definitely, obviously has a dark side to it, which I kind of like that idea. And so we will see. Most of the people who have reviewed it have quite liked it so far. So we'll give it a shot. Okay, so next up in romances is Fight. It's Skyridge Hotshots. This one is by Sloane St. James. Now, I believe that every book in the series is a different author. So I thought that would be interesting. I like the idea that it's a different author because you get a different feel for each book, which really ultimately is kind of how I think it should be because every couple in each book should be very different. So this one is Callahan. Fighting wildfires is the only thing I've ever wanted to do, and I'm damn good at it. Being the captain of an interagency hotshot crew of wildland firefighters is high risk, high reward. The risk blindsided me 5 years ago when I lost one of my crew and was changed forever. Now the only rewards I allow are to work harder, smarter, and enjoy easy, sexy nights with strangers until I meet Prescott Timmons. Her smart mouth and adventurous spirit have me forgetting all of my rules until her past shows up and lies straight to feel too familiar. I swear to never spare her a second glance, but when she finds herself in a life or death situation with Mother Nature, my instincts kick in and I take action. Stranded and sharing a bed again, we're forced to face our truth. Do we let this fire burn out or fight? So, Skyward Hotshots, typical romance with a little bit of a thrilling side to it, which I think sounds interesting. I read a series about hotshot firefighters up in Alaska. I can't remember who the author was. J.H. Coy, I think. Really loved that series, enjoyed it very much, so I thought we'd give this one a try. All right, next one is the final book in the Windy City series by Liz Forte, and it is Rewind It Back, and this is a second chance romance with Rio, who is a hockey player. He is introduced in the first book, because he's on the same team as Xander, I think, from the first book. Pretty sure, because I remember Rio's character. So there's Hallie and Rio, and says, Hallie, when I was 11, my family moved next door to his. When I was 13, he was my first crush. When I was 16, we fell for each other. And when I was 19, we broke each other's heart. And then Rio, I never thought I'd be the only one single left in my friend group. But after years of trying to find love, I've concluded it may not exist for me anymore. That is, until I accidentally hire Hallie Hart to renovate my house, and our jaded history is my rewinding memories I've kept secret for years. So now, I think, if I recall from some of the things that I've heard, is that it has a lot of jumping back and forth, and that can kind of jolt me a little bit out of a story, when it like jumps in the past and then comes into the future and then jumps in the past again, into like that kind of thing can throw me off a little bit in a book. So I don't know how I'm going to feel about this one. I've only read the first one in the series, quite enjoyed it, and looking forward to moving on to the second book. So, this one's the third one, the fifth one. And of course, I'm going to read them all because I do have them all in print. Didn't buy a fancy smashy version of it, just bought a regular version of it, but looking forward to reading it. Okay, so then what we have The Winners by Fred Backman. Now, I just read Beartown, and this is the third book. There's 3 books in the series. I have ordered the middle book. This one I got off Book Outlet. Beartown I got off Book Outlet, but the middle book I couldn't get off Book Outlet, so I had to order it through Amazon, and for some unknown reason it's taking forever to get here. So I'm going to see if I can cancel that order and maybe get it through like Indigo or something like that, or I can get it a little bit faster. But yeah, it's like taking forever for me to get it from Amazon. But I managed to pick this one up, which is the third one, and it just continues on with the same characters, of course, a little bit later, and it seems to center around Maya Anderson and Benji Ovich, who are two of the main characters, particularly Maya. So super looking forward to this. I don't want to read too much because you really need to read Beartown. Beartown is a emotional journey. Great book. Haven't reviewed that yet. The review is going to come up soon because it was something I read in June. So, and this is the third one. Then the next one that I have in the series, it is a Dinner for Vampires, Life on a Cult TV show, while also in an actual cult by Bethany Jo Lenz. So I don't know if this is, I think it's, yes, it's an autobiography. A deliciously witty and inspiring memoir, so it's a memoir, a One Tree Hill star, Bethany Jo Lenz, about her decade in a cult and her quest to break free. I forget what cult it was that she was supposed to be in, but I thought that I would grab this one again. Got it on Book Outlet, so I thought it sounded like it would be fun. I never watched One Tree Hill, just not my cup of tea. So, but I heard all about everything that happened to her, so that was why I wanted to read the memoir. I thought it would be of interest. And then I grabbed off of Aardvark. Now, this is Left of Forever by Tara DeWitt. And I believe this is part of a series. I've never read anything by her, but this didn't sound like you had to read any of the other books to follow this one. It says Ren and Alice Beard fell in love as kids, had their son Sam, and when they were only teenagers, and built a life together in coastal town of Spoons, Oregon. They were made for one another until they fell apart. Now divorced and in their 30s, Ren runs a bakery in town. Alice works as a firefighter. They live separate lives, though they are hardly off each other's mind. When Alice and Ren move Sam into college, Alice convinces Ren to take an extended road trip back to Spoons to see if they can give the relationship one last chance. Amid the gorgeous California coastline and the intimacy they have missed for years, Ren starts to think it just might be possible. But can the past truly be left behind? When words fail and old wounds resurface, it's soul-bearing letter that could finally reveal the truth or close the door on them forever. So I love the idea that, this is a couple who's kind of already been through their life together and decided to part and are coming back together much later in their life. And I loved the sound of it. The second chance romances are kind of hit and miss for me, but this type of second chance romances is really the kind that I love the best. So I thought I would give this a try. And, when they had it on Aardvark, I decided to pick it up. I think this was part of the June selections, if I'm not mistaken. And I think you can still get it on Aardvark. Pretty sure I saw it when I went to select my July selections. So then I picked up Beautifully Broken Pieces, the first book in the Sutter Lake series by Catherine Cowles. So I just started reading Catherine Cowles. I read Fragile Sanctuary. She writes romantic suspense. I love romantic suspense. It is my preference. When I read romance novels, they're the kind of romance novels I like the best. So I thought I would go back in her backlist and start from the beginning and kind of come forward, because Fragile Sanctuary, I think, is her current batch of books that she's writing. So, and I think it's almost finished, the series, but I wanted to try and start from the beginning. So this is a woman who lost everything. Taylor is looking for peace and quiet away from the memories of all she's lost. A small mountain town where no one knows her seems like the perfect escape. A man battling the ghosts of his past. Walker loves his life just the way it is. His town, his family, his brothers in blue. Everything simple and easy until a chance encounter changes it all. When Taylor's solitude is interrupted by the rugged cop, they find that the very thing they were avoiding might just be what they both need. As their iron wills clash and passion flares, a killer lurks, and you never know who might be caught in the crosshairs. So, yeah, thought this sounded fantastic. Her first book was like chef's kiss, 5 stars for me. Enjoyed it so much. Fragile Sanctuary, yeah, just loved it, and I've already picked up the second book in that series, so looking forward to giving another series of hers a try. Okay, then we have Bourbon and Lies by Victoria Wilder. And so I grabbed the first book in the series. I liked the sound of it. I thought it sounded like fun. Wanted to give it a try. The cover, beautiful cover. Unfortunately, my cover was trimmed crooked. So it actually sits crooked, like there's more space here than there. It's self-published author, so even the spine is trimmed incorrectly. It should be centered, and it's not centered. So unfortunately, Amazon has a tendency to do that sometimes, but it is what it is. Is it Fiasco, Kentucky? In Fiasco, Kentucky, there is one rule: never fall for a fox brother. Any woman who did ended up dead, or so the rumor goes. Townies call it a curse, but I've lived it and I won't survive it again. I'm not a cop anymore, but I've seen enough danger to know that Lanny Young, the beautiful stranger who just showed up in my small town, is running from it. She's lying about where she came from and what she's doing here. I don't want her near my family or the quiet life I've made for myself. But my brothers have other plans. Now she's everywhere, working at my distillery, living in our guest house, calling me cowboy, and skinny dipping in my horse trough. But it's the way she dishes out attitude from that pretty mouth of hers that has me wanting things I've sworn to myself I'd never want again. I should push her away, forget how her lips taste, and ignore how she makes me want more out of life again. When her past shows up and mingles too closely with mine, her lies begin to unravel. The rules don't matter anymore. I mess up, dig too far, and get too close. Only 2 things have the power to keep her safe now. So, sounds like it's like a bit of a romantic suspense. Oh, always love to give them a try. Okay, so then another Catherine Cowles one that I grabbed, which is a standalone, from what I've been told, is All the Missing Pieces. And I thought, standalone, fantastic, because you don't have to worry about a bunch of other things that have been to follow or whatever. But yeah, so sometimes the last thing you expect is exactly what you need, the final missing piece. And sometimes it comes in the form of a towering, broody sheriff. It's always it with me. And sometimes it comes in the form of a towering, broody sheriff determined to get in your way at every step. Ridley Sawyer knows what it's like to miss someone, to feel like a piece of her vanished because it happened to her the night her twin sister disappeared. Now Ridley channels that loss into hope, traveling the country, covering cold cases for her true crime podcast. She might not have found justice for her sister, but that doesn't stop her from finding it for others until Sheriff Coulter Brooks gets in her way. Colt knows what it's like to have reporters descend on his town in the wake of a tragedy, and he's not about to let a fiery podcaster stir up trouble. It doesn't matter that her haunting blue eyes tell him there's more to Ridley's story, or that he can't stop imagining what it'd be like to touch her. But when Ridley's cold case turns hot and she's thrust into the crosshairs, Colt has no choice but to step in. Suddenly, Ridley's living at his house, drinking his whiskey, stealing his dog's affections. But she's also proving that she's so much more than his first impression. And as they get closer to the truth, the game they've been playing might just turn deadly. So, really good. Yeah, another Catherine Cowles one. That one sounds so, so good. Okay, next we have My Vampire Plus One by Jenna Levine. Now, I just read um, My Roommate is a Vampire, and that was read in June. Have not reviewed that yet, but absolutely loved it. Thought it was hilarious. Such a great rom com. Okay, cozy, little cozy, even though there's vampire involved, a little bit cozy. So this book picks up kind of where that one left off with one of the characters from the first book. So while you probably should read the first book, you don't have to. I guess that's what I'm saying. You could just read this one, but what I loved about the first one, which I don't know if this one's going to hit quite the same way, but in the first one, he wakes up from 100-year sleep. So he has no clue what he's doing, Mr. Vampire, and she ends up being his roommate. I don't want to explain how, that's part of the story, but so he needs her help. Like, how do you live in 2020, whatever, right? And so she's trying to teach him how to live and not stand out, because when she first meets him, he stands out. So that's the premise of the first book. Loved that. It was hilarious. Funniest thing ever. This one is Reginald, who technically is his friend. He is a vampire as well. But Reginald's a bit more with it, when it comes to current events, so to speak. And, but this, I believe Reginald takes a liking to a human woman, just like Frederick did in the first book. So I don't know if it says nothing sucks more than fake dating a vampire in this paranormal romantic comedy. So I think she's his accountant, because they kind of suggest that at the end of the first book. And somehow she ends up fake dating him for some unknown reason. So I can't wait to read it. The first book was so funny. I enjoyed it so much. So it's like, romantic suspense and romantic comedy. Those are kind of like my two favorites. Even though I like dark romance and that sort of thing, I do like dark romance kind of with a thrilling sort of suspense side to it, which is what Beautiful Venom is kind of like that. So that's why I sort of like that. There's a bit of suspense aspect to it. Yeah. Okay. So then, as I was saying, Delicate Escape from Catherine Cowles. This is book 2 in the Spiral Falls series, and Fragile Sanctuary was first. So this is the next book in the series, which is Shep Coulson, is all golden boy charm and devastating good looks, but I know what it's like to be taken in by easy smiles and the promise of forever. I have the scars to prove it. Only the handsome contractor won't stop coming by the bakery and prying little truths from my lips. Those amber eyes of his seeing far too much, and when all the secrets come crashing down, he's determined to keep me safe, even if it means moving into my rundown cabin to do it. So Shep is the stepbrother of the main female character from the first book. And he has a construction company, and that's how the main female character in the first book, meets her significant other. He worked for Shep. So Shep, though, has taken a liking to this particular woman. And and I knew this was kind of coming, because you kind of get a little inkling of it in the first book. So very much looking forward to it. And Shep's one of the characters I liked so much. Now, the whole family, they're all a family of, a lot of them are foster kids. It's this one woman and the grandmother, and they've adopted all these foster kids. They do have, I believe, one natural daughter. I don't know if Shep is a foster, if he's a natural, because there's a combination of both. And there are like, I don't know, 8 of them. I think there's a whole bunch of them. Maybe eight's an exaggeration, but there's a lot of them. So yeah, very much looking forward to romantic suspense. That's how all of these books are, is romantic suspense. So can't wait to read that one. All right, next one I picked up off Book Outlet by Krista and Becca Ritchie, is Dishonestly Yours. And it is starting fresh is the only way Phoebe can escape a life of crime, but her best friend's older brother complicates honest dreams in this gripping new series from the authors of the Addicted series. Now, I've not read anything by these authors, so this is my first book by them, and I just thought that, I love the fact that, she comes from a life of crime, so where does it go from there? Obviously, she has a bit of a criminal problem. Yeah, so looking forward to that one. Then we have God of Pain, which is the second book in the Dark series by Rena Kent. The first one is God of Malice. Had to think about that for a second. First book is God of Malice, and I have God of Malice is on my current July TBR. Hopefully I will get it read. Should, but it's I like it's up there at the top of the group of books that I had picked that I really want to get read. So hopefully I'll read it. And it is a dark romance. So it says this one, I made a terrible mistake that can't be undone. Creighton King is silent, brooding, and hostile. Annika Volkov loves him. She is his opposite in every way, a ray of sunshine, the light of the party, and constantly talking. What Annika doesn't know is that Creighton's quiet, beautiful exterior masks a dark, hidden persona, a violent one. Creighton knows he will never escape his path, so he takes his pain out on others. It's his only release. He doesn't expect to find any attraction to the girl that is his antithesis, but as Annika attempts to get closer to him, he finds that he enjoys her company more than anyone else's, especially once he discovers her wild side. And now that he's infatuated, she will never escape him, even if their families' histories are deeply connected in ways neither of them could have imagined. Annika is a light and Creighton is the dark. Will she be able to light the way for him, or will he succumb to the darkness and take her down with him? So I believe that this is one of the favorites of everybody who has read the entire collection of them. God of Malice is like kind of middle of the road. So, like I said, haven't read that yet. But this one certainly sounds good. And yeah, we shall see. Not into too much into dark romance. I kind of dabbled a little bit into it, but like I said, I read a lot of romantic suspense, and they can get pretty dark at times. Not necessarily between the couple, but there can be a lot of dark elements in the book. So we'll see how that one goes. Okay, next I picked up off Book Outlet Longshot by Kennedy Ryan. I have never read anything by Kennedy Ryan, so I thought, well, this is a perfect opportunity. And I think this is book 1 in whatever series this is. It's a hoops novel. So I'm assuming that it's a basketball player. She kissed the prince and he turned into a fraud. Now her fairy tale is upside down. Iris Dupree meets August West in a sports bar during her last semester of college. It's a conversation of a lifetime and sends spark flying in every direction. The connection is undeniable, but the timing is all wrong. August is posed for the NBA draft, and Iris belongs to another man, basketball's golden boy and August's longtime rival. The two go their separate ways, but they often recall that electric night and what could have been. While August has embarked on his all-star life, studded with wealth and fame, Iris's perfect public relationship has become a nightmare behind closed doors, a tarnished dream of fool's gold. When August re-enters her life, the world's seems briefly bright again, but Iris's dark nights are not over yet. To survive, she must build her own strength and trust that her bond with August can endure after all this time, even when her fraudulent prince has vowed never to let her go. Oh, sounds good. It's a sports romance, so they're hit and miss with me, but if they're well written, which is like the Liz Tom Ford Windy City series, Tom Ford's Windy City, that's beautifully written, so I quite enjoy it. And I've heard nothing but good things about Kennedy Ryan, so looking forward to reading that. Okay, next up is Caught Up by Nevessa Allen, which is the second book in this series. Now, I don't know. It's the Into the Darkness series. First one is Lights Out. I haven't read that yet. I'm telling you, a lot of people are not really feeling this one. But, I'm going to keep my opinions to myself until I've actually read it on my own. I do want to read the first one first. I do tend to like these sort of, they're dark and edgy, but the first one I understand has a bit of a comical element to it. But this one, I don't know. The way it sounded is kind of where everyone is reviewing it. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to like it, but it says, I want this woman, and I'm a man who always gets what I want. And then she says he's ruthless, a walking red flag. Good thing red is my favorite color. So we'll leave it at that. It's like, kind of like a toxic romance comedy hour. Anyway, hopefully I'll like it. Most people I think are kind of middle of the road, sort of like around 2 to 3 stars, sort of in that area, which is kind of a bit of a disappointment. But who's to say? Because I haven't even read the first one yet. So probably should have waited and not bought it right away. Probably would have been a good idea. Major case of FOMO, right? Yeah. All right. Now, these two here, I bought Binding and Keeping 13. Now, it pains me to put these in the romance category. And that is strictly because these books are about teenagers in high school. Not college, high school. So any romance side of it is going to give me the creeps. I mean, it's just natural. I'm 65, almost 65. But it's the emotional parts of the story that interest me. Everything that I've read about the emotional side sounds like a great story. But I bought the first two, and I don't know if I'll continue on to the other ones in the sets, because I know that there are, one just came out, so I think that there's another set of 2 right after this one, and then there are 2 more single books after that. This one is one couple, so it does revolve around a couple, but they're in some sort of school, high-end school in Ireland. So remains to be seen if I'm going to like it or not, but we will read the synopsis from the first book. So he wants to save her, she wants to hide. She's damaged, he's determined. Fate brought them together, love binds them. Johnny Kavanagh has everything going for him. On the rugby pitch, he's a force to be reckoned with, even plagued with a hidden injury. Everyone knows he's heading straight for the top, but that means there's no room for mistakes or distractions, not even the shy new girl at Tom in college, the one with the sad eyes and concealed bruises. He needs to stay focused, keep his cool, and not let anything get in the way of the bigger picture, except before he knows it, the lonely girl has become his only picture. Life has never been easy for Shannon Lynch, Bullied and tortured, she arrives at Tolman College midway through the school year, praying for a fresh start and desperate to shake off the demons that plague her. But when she meets the notorious Johnny Kavanagh on her first day, her plans to keep a low profile are at serious risk. As they fall into a complicated friendship and grapple with their undeniable chemistry, hidden pain and complicated secrets threaten to be their undoing. But Johnny won't give up on Shannon, no matter what it might cost them. So, certainly sounds like it could be good. I'm going to be frank. If there are any heavy duty sexual parts in the book, I will probably skip them. Just simply because I don't want to read about 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds having sex together. Have no interest in that. So, beyond that, though, sounds like it could be a good series. So that is how I'm ending my romance selections. I have a ton of really great ones, I think, and I can't wait to read a lot of them. Yeah, I think it's going to be great. Now, that's it for me for my final batch. This is my last video for my book haul for the second quarter of 2025. And as with anything, only do these once every 3 months, these book hauls, because I don't have enough kind of in between to do them all. I mean, I suppose I could, but I don't like to mix them. I like to keep them kind of all in the separate categories because I think it's more fun to do it that way. And then people only have to listen to what they want to listen to and the type of books that they're interested in, because a lot of people who like thrillers do not want to read romance books. And it's the same thing with, if there's people who like cozy mysteries, they don't want to read romance books. So one or the other. So this way it keeps it to very specific genres and makes it easier for you to pick out the ones that you want to listen to. So hopefully you enjoyed that. And with all that in mind, I'm out until our next video.